morning and a welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne, and as disembodied hand, Spooky Quindy, along with her undead servitors, Justin and John. How are you all? Sleepy. Yeah, I hope that you recover in the you'll have by the weekend. By the weekend, right, Kariniko? Yep. Yeah, I stayed up too late because I was reading. I have a new mystery series that I've been reading, and I was at the end of the book, of course, and so I had to finish because with a mystery series, you can't just stop. Your brain won't go to sleep if you don't finish it. So I had to finish it, but it was actually a really long, really long ending. So it was like, dear me. You were out of your seat. You were really disembodied, in fact, Quindy. You weren't even present. You were in the ethereal state. Indeedy. Yeah. Alrighty, let me clean up my crap for a moment. As I have lots of crap all around from all the paints that I haven't put away because I've been bad about putting away my paints. I try to be very good about that these days because a cluttered work surface kills my creativity, I have learned. So, we are doing that. Perfect. Kodiak, thank you for the resub. 7 months, lucky number 7. Oh, you're working the weekend. Yeah, right. Yeah, when you have to go to work is when you feel great. I get it. Understood. All right. Oh, okay. Got our happy little colors today. We are working with our Rich Indigo and our Surf Aqua. I'll also get out our Creamy Ivory so that we can blend the side of Fishy's face. I think I used Creamy Ivory. Pretty sure I did. Yeah. I don't think I used Osirian Sand on this one. Maybe. It probably won't matter what I do. Let me get my glasses on. Although I think technically it's probably longer than it's not technically 3 hours. So like you'd have to look up the D&D the spell, right? I don't remember how long you're allowed to stay in an astral or ethereal state. Yeah, I don't think I was using... I think I was using Creamy Ivory. Pretty sure I was, so we're going to go with that. Also, I will drop everything. Because is that kind of week. Today is my last day of work. Today is my Friday. Haha, yay! In 2 days, relatives start arriving. Yeah, right, Pete. Mandracar. This is why I drop things, because I can't juggle. Juggling is not in my repertoire. There we go. Yeah, and also the horrible, terrible allergy-laden things are... I actually had to take a Benadryl this morning because the state was trying to kill me again. So I'm just going to mix up our basic colors, which is our Rich Indigo, our Surf Aqua, and our, in this case, Creamy Ivory for the face. Relative count coming up. Yeah, I have, we have David's parents, my parents, and my brother, sister-in-law, and nephew, and then my friend Jennifer, who's coming in to marry us. So we have house guests for 4 days and just generally entertaining people for 2 days or so. 2 to 3, depending. Thanks. Yeah, mostly I just want the wedding to be over. I'm thrilled to be marrying my guy, but like the spectacle of wedding has never appealed to me. The only reason that we're not eloping is that it's David's first wedding and he's an only child, so we're pretty much doing it for the relatives and not for us, which I think is the way a lot of it happens. Although I guess some people are very into their own weddings, but I never was. Yeah. Like I said, I'll just be happy when it's over. And then I'm not going anywhere for a while. Me and the puppy, we're going to camp in California. Just going to be here. Alrighty, let's see here. I was doing wet blending. I was pretty much blending together the purples and the cream on the face on that side, so we will go over and start doing that on the other side. Oh, Super Pixel. Yeah, that one was written by Rhonda. She does a show on Tuesdays, right? Is it Tuesdays, Quindy, or is it? I think, or is it Monday? I think it might be. It's there somewhere. I never remember. Mondays. So yeah. So if you have any questions on the Layer Up Kit Pixel, Rhonda does the show on Monday. So in the afternoon. So a little bit later, 2 p.m. Central USA time. So it's a good opportunity. Oh, Pixie. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was hard for me to see. The eye looks like an L from way back where I am. Sorry about that. I had the reading glasses on. It was distorting things. Thanks for the correction. I'm historically known for screwing up names, but that one was just me reading an I as an L. That's the problem with using my reading glasses for painting, is if I look at the screen and I forget to look over the top, is it's a blurry. And usually when it's regular, I know the name, so it's like I don't have to worry about it, but... Nice, no magic. Nice. Very nice. Grats. You still love the fish belly? That's good. All right, so here we're pretty much bringing in... we're using a lavender up top, white around the eye, and then we're more going with the cream down below. So I'm going to do a quick mix of my rich indigo and creamy. And I'm pretty much going to just block in that purpley color all over up here. And then I can always highlight it with the pure creamy ivory. And I want to do a little bit of wet blending, so I'll grab my indigo and kind of add it in and blend it around a bit to make that color blend in. I don't know, the fish belly is, it draws the eye partially because it's very warm compared to everything else. Oh, I got a little bit of blue there last time. I didn't see it, so now's the time to touch that up. So adding in a bit of that purple all there and down the side of the face as well here. I'm going to take our creamy ivory and start blending a bit. Let me get actual focus here. Oh, fishy. You must focus, fishy. There, much better. Ah, and his hand is going to block my camera. The creamy ivory actually overwhelms the rich indigo quite a bit since I've thinned down the rich indigo, and it normally is a pretty translucent color. which makes it really nice for doing shadows. But you got to remember that some colors then, when you try to mix with it, many colors will overwhelm it. If you are trying to wet blend, or if you're mixing it, using it to mix a hue. And we're just trying to get a little bit of, want these to be balanced, so I'm bringing up that, that area over the eye a little bit lighter. Oh, nice, Agent Marvel. Yeah, that's good. It's good that he negotiated. Because you just never know, right? Like, honestly, companies are dumb. And sometimes it never crosses their mind that by doing something, even if it's for the good of the company, that doing something may just make people go, okay, bye. Like, I swear companies just don't get it. Especially in today's workforce. But yeah, good for your hubby being proactive. I thinned down my ivory a little bit since it was so very strong. I do want to bring in the highlight here a little bit stronger above the eye, since it is pure creamy ivory on the other side. All right. Just getting in some, a little bit more shadow here. Doing a little bit of blend, trying to bring in some of the details around the eye. And I do wet blending a lot on this show. I wouldn't always necessarily do wet blending if I was doing my own painting, like apart from the show. I often will do layering instead. But layering is much slower, and so when I'm on the show, I do a lot more wet blending than I tend to do in my personal paint jobs, because it is generally speedier, at least to set up things, and then I can always go back in with some layering. But on a big model like this, wet blending is a really good choice because you have these big open areas. The area around the eye is a little bit smaller, so that's why I'm kind of going in a little bit more detailed and using more layering there. There, looks pretty symmetrical there. Nice, Zachariah. I know how that pet owner anxiety is. It's terrible stuff. Kiki had been having loose stools, and I was having, like, you know, anxiety attacks on that, but we lowered her food a little bit and things are better. So sometimes it's just that the dog food bags always tell you to feed too much. And your friends who have the best intentions can also tell you to feed too much. Sometimes it's just dialing in how much your dog really needs. Because if you didn't know, guys, the #1 cause of loose stools in puppies is not actually infections or anything else. It's feeding too much food. But yes, good luck to everyone with their job stuff. Everything seems to be working out very well. Good job. All right, so I've got that side of the face. I need to do a little bit more back here on the back. You can see that bit where his gills come in. All right, so we're just going to highlight that little gill there. We've got a little bit of a highlight over here, but it's sculpted a bit different. And that'll happen when it's, I mean, if it's not a completely mirrored sculpt, you'll see features on each side that are slightly, obviously meant to be the same thing, but they're slightly different, sculpted slightly different, so that can throw off any symmetry you're trying to do, but just get it close. Fishy is working. Hi, lady. Just bringing in a little bit more highlight there. Make it emulate the other side of the face a little bit more. There we go. We've got our patterns more or less duplicated now. That's good. I did a bit of aqua on the tendrils. I think I hadn't quite figured out what I wanted to do there. I think I will actually get more aqua out and darken the ends of, or the shadows in some of these tendrils. Hey, green users. So I'm going to grab that Surf Aqua. I'm going to pop just a little bit of my Creamy Ivory into it. And I'm going to make it a little bit darker. I decided I wanted the tendrils to stay lighter toward the edges because with that shadow behind them, they show up better if they stay lighter. So although I originally was thinking I was going to take them darker, I'm adapting my color composition to the actual way that the color scheme is working out. And this is a thing. Because you may have an idea in your head of how things are going to look, and you may even have it on a sketch or something. But then when you put it on the model, you may find that it doesn't work out the way you thought. So always be willing to change and adapt. Don't try to just like, I planned this and this is the way I'm going to do it. If it's not working, it's not working. Yeah, fishing charters, if you know where to fish, it's true. Although your business can be a bit sporadic depending on the season, I hear. Shadow Raven. The trip sounds fun though. So I'm just putting in a little bit more aqua. You can see that coming in. It helps because it pulls that color more up toward his face. In fact, I'll probably introduce just a little bit of it. Let's actually do that. Let's pull this color up. Let's put it like right here around his mouth. Pull a little bit of this aqua color up. And then maybe I'll also put a little bit of it, like back here, behind his eye. Just a little patch. There's really no reason other than to pull that color into the composition more. Hello, Cursed. I'm excited. Speaking of Cursed, my GW, my Games Workshop Cursed City should show up today. Of course, it shows up right before my wedding. I'm going to count it as a wedding present, personally, for myself. It's got good timing. Yeah, this past birthday I adopted my mom's rule, which is the older you get, the more presents you get. So you just start getting presents for yourself, like weeks in advance. Like she just turned the big 75, and she gave herself 2 weeks of presents. A week before and a week after. And I think this is fair. I think maybe more people would have more birthdays if they adopted this rule. I'm going to fill in the eyes white here now. I'm going to, actually, I've lost a little bit of my liner, so I'm going to grab some of that. I believe I've got just walnut on here, so I'm going to grab it. Wow, with how many greens you guys have? Like, wow. That just seems like, that seems like worse. Like, he could have asked you to just, like the only thing worse would have been if he's like, find this old mini and match the size, except you have to find it in my office. You know, finding anything in Ron's office is pretty much not happening, but, like, yeah, I can only imagine. I don't know how organized you guys are with your old greens. But that's like, you know, find this model from 1989 and match the size. That's just so weird. It's so wrong. So he never sent me that witch model. So I may have to, are ghoulie bags still being ordered, y'all? Like, or are they out already? Yes, the presents. Yeah, the older you get, the more days of presents you should get. I think this is awesome. That's common sense there, Pendrake. Do you know Ron? Have you met him? Still going? All right. Let me put a little, I need to make a little note to myself. That way I can get the ghoulie bag witch. My sticky notes are they're being a little too sticky in coming out of my dispenser. We'll Reaper order ghoulie bag. I'm sure there's paint I could order. Alrighty. And maybe I'll order a couple of the Christmas models if they're not just Christmas. I don't remember what's available, like what's only available for 12 days and what's not. But it'd be good to get some models queued up to do for the holidays. Yeah, or I could just use, you know, I could just make a Reaper order and get one, you know, plus candy. All right, so now the eyes are blocked in, I can put them in white. And this is just going to, essentially, putting this grounding of white in makes the eyes stand out, whatever color I choose to use. I'm probably going to give him either orange or yellow eyes, orange or gold. And I'll probably hold off and figure it out once I've got more colors on him. Ah, new Christmas figs now. Cool. Alrighty, Fishy's face is looking okay. I feel like I need a little bit more of the creamy ivory on top of the eye. So I'm going to grab that and just need to bring it up a little bit. There we are, a little bit. All right. And then I've got the tendrils here. I think I want to make these tendrils dark. So I'm going to mix a little bit of my liner color, which today is walnut, and my rich indigo. To darken down my tendrils. And we can mix in a little bit of our creamy ivory to make a highlight for the tendrils, or the areas around the mouth. This fish has teeth, which is really weird. I guess fish do have teeth. Some of them. It just seems weird that a koi has teeth. But I'll put his little smiling teeth in there anyway. He's a happy fish. Yeah, no Pendrake, but I'm not working with quite there yet. I want to get everything around the mouth kind of evened out. Looking pretty good there. Pretty good. Yeah, he's just taking vengeance for all of the people who have eaten his fishy brethren. All that seafood you consumed is now going to come back to bite you. Literally. I'm going to put down the teal first, the Surf Aqua. Mostly because it has better coverage. And then I will add the rich indigo. I'll layer it over the bottom. And build it up. All right, and then we actually were using a dark color on that front spike, so hey, Ultra Squid. I don't think Giant Fish Guy cares about being hypocritical. You can care about your paltry human designations. Oh no. Yeah, I had, back when I had my Abyssinian Ishtar, I had saltwater fish tanks, and those were her cat TV. She loved to watch. I had a wrasse, and it swims very bouncily, and she would just watch that thing swim around the tank. So we're going to just do a little bit of blending with our indigo here. And we're going to take our dark mix of walnut and indigo, and we are going to pick out the spines. I don't think there's more than accident. I mean, they are looking for food. I need more rich indigo in that shadow color. Trying to make a very, very dark purple, but the walnut is very strong and will overwhelm the rich indigo. There we go. Now we're more purple. Essentially mixing those colors together to make that nice dark purple there. Hippos are just grouchy as blazes. Very, very grouchy. All right, I'm going to let that dry in order to do the spines in the darker color. And I'm going to, while I'm waiting, I'm going to actually mix up my blue color so that we can finish the foam on the front of his wavy bits like we did this last time. So I want to mix a blend of these two colors. We'll do a 50-50 mix first. Kind of judge how that looks. Got a good blue color there. If we look at what we were doing, then we're pretty much adding in white and a little bit of aqua to get highlight colors on that. Okay, I'm going to actually do just a separate little thing here. I'm going to put 1 drop of my indigo and 2 of my surf aqua, and then a drop of white. Apparently it is fossil day, according to Windows. What is your favorite fossil? Mine is trilobites. I even have a trilobite. We'll just do a mix here. And that's great. And we'll put a drip of that over there and add more surfactant and aqua, right? Yes, it says fossil day on my computer. I have a trilobite from the Field Museum in Chicago that I got when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And my dad found it a couple years ago and like gave it to me. All right, so we're just making a succession of highlights to play with our watercolors. Yeah, we shouldn't be like too surprised to see like the natural colors. I mean, it's in a way it's funny, I guess, because a lot of reptiles tend toward more of an olivey green or green colors. Although lizards are brown and blue sometimes, at least desert lizards are. But yeah, the rust color is interesting. Well, get out your fossils and tell them how much you care for them on Fossil Day. All right. They may have turned to stone long ago, but it is pretty cool that they are still around. I'm going to highlight these bubbles with this really pale color that I mixed up. It's 1 shade down from white, really. It's kind of my off-white. Since there are rusty red ones, I wonder if there were yellow and cream colored ones. Because usually that's that. I would be curious if they can analyze the genetics and see if it's the same gene that controls for that color in that color locus in mammals. I mean, yeah, but I don't know if birds have the same Like, I guess there are reddish brown chickens. And I'm just going to pretty much highlight all these little bubbles, and then I'll start stippling in highlights. Yeah, I think your local game store owner is maybe a little bit, I mean, I guess, when is he saying that went into effect? Because I have pure white that's well over a year old and it's fine. Like, always, okay, so when anybody who is not a paint chemist talks to you about paint chemistry, or anybody who hasn't even studied it, so anybody who's just repeating something they were told, right? Like, a game store owner, unless he's really into, like, the paint and has a background in that, he's probably just repeating what somebody told him. But chalkiness is I hate to say this, guys, but chalkiness is a user error. And it wouldn't be a pigment error. Because, oh man, this is just like baffling my brain. All right, so, yeah, so right in the middle of me doing Master Series, and like I've been using pure white and I don't get chalkiness. Yeah. I mean, okay. First of all, chalkiness is not the pigment. Chalkiness is you thinning it too much, right? And when you do thin it too much and you think you're seeing a chalky thing, that's not the pigment. The pigment is invisible. The pigment is particles that are less than a micron big. You cannot see the white pigment, no matter how hard you try. What you can see and do see with chalkiness is probably the matting agent separating out, which is usually a little bit larger because it has to interrupt the light. So essentially it has to interrupt the surface enough to create a matte surface. So usually what you're seeing, particulate matter and streakiness and stuff, is not like, it's not what you think it is. Yeah, whenever you get that question, it's just, or anything like that, that's just such a, I don't know. I mean, he probably was just saying something that he was told. A lot of game company owners who pay somebody else to do their paint lines, like, will also do that. They'll be told just a general statement to kind of explain something, and they'll, you know, regurgitate that, but they don't understand the why, and so the how is, you know, the explanation is necessarily flawed. But I mean, you could make a lot of our lighter paints chalky if you thin them too much. And then you've got the problem that not everybody's talking about the same thing when they say chalky. And sometimes they mean streaky. Sometimes speckly. But usually, in all those cases, you are overthinning. I mean, my baseline for pure white is never thin beyond 1 to 2.5 paint to water. That's 2 drops of paint, 5 drops of water. And that is only if you want absolutely translucent layering. Everything else should be thicker. So if you are adding too much water for anything except glazing, and even with glazing, like, you have to be careful. Like, I would still say not more than 1 to 2.5 probably. But it's very tricky to glaze with light colors. And you don't need to thin nearly that much for darker colors. Yeah, exactly, Bruce. I just get tired. Bumpy finish. Okay, so chalky. Okay, so chalkiness. This is where I'm actually Big Apple. This is where I'm coming in saying people use chalky to talk about different things, right? And so, like, when you say fail to thin, how thin are you making it? Are you saying where you fail to thin it at all? In which case it won't self-level? That's a different problem. Four or five. Okay, what kind of palette are you using, and what's your overall ratio? If you're using a standard dropper bottle, your drops should be pretty much the same size consistently from drop to drop. Solid white has a different base, and it does not layer nearly as well, green users. Solid white was, I was trying to use a base that was just higher coverage and a little bit whiter, but it does not have the miraculous layering function, translucency function of the thinability of pure white. That's why I don't even recommend other whites. I mean, if you really want just a white that just covers, okay, solid white. But solid white's base is not it's not the layering base that most of MSP is in. Okay, and how much paint are you putting in? And also, what technique are you doing? Like, there is no too, like, there is too thin for the technique you are trying to do, but overall too thin. I mean, this is a functionality question. When you say 4 or 5 drops is too much, I don't know if you're adding that to 1 drop of paint or 4 drops of paint. So you gotta give me more information. I cannot troubleshoot without all the information. It's like trying to solve a murder mystery and only asking like 2 questions. That's why I'm here, Kirst. Make no mistake, I am not here to paint pretty models. I am here to answer questions. I'm going to start putting in stippling around my frothy foam here. Yeah, so what did I just say, Kodiak? I said 2 drops to 5 drops was the absolute most you should ever do, and that is only with pure white. So already, if you're just using 1 drop, 1 to 4, that's way more than 1 to 2.5, right? And again, only pure white gets the 1 to 2.5. Most other things never go above 1 to 2 paint to water. And with some paints, even that is too much. Yeah, skin tones, no. Oh, at most. Go watch my thinning MSP paints if you haven't. When I'm the only time I'm ever using anything close to 1 to 4 or 1 to 3 is usually when I'm glazing. where I just want colored water. I'm not even really tracking how much water I'm putting in. I'm just making it really just colored water. But glazing is a very specific technique, and it's far thinner than anything else you're going to. Yeah, I mean, do go watch my Thinning Msp Paints thing, because I talk about this in that. That's why we link to that sucker. Because otherwise, you know. And if you don't want to watch that, go to my Patreon and pick up the free PDF. But yeah. And so it is going to absolutely get chalky if you thin that much. You're breaking the paint, essentially. You're breaking it down. All of its components are separating out. It's no longer paint. So yeah, never more, in general, unless you are using pure white, never more than 1 to 2 paint to water. Unless you are glazing. Okay. But yeah, it's like, that's what I say, it's like most paint malfunctions like that tend to be user error. The cracking thing that used to happen also was like too thick of paint. But then we switched bases. Like, there are definitely bases that are softer and more prone or less prone to doing the crackle thing. And there are bases that are harder and much more prone to it. But yeah, when in doubt, go consult the Thinning Msp Paints, because that's why I did that. I did it. I put it out there on the internet forever for free so that you guys could check it when you had a paint problem. Double check yourself. Cool, thanks, Turgeon. I miss thunderstorms, given that's a severe thunderstorm, but... dusty looking is what it's supposed to look like, Crows. Like, it's not, that's why dry brushing is, like, not a, it's not really, like, it's best for, like, weathering on vehicles because it makes that dusty, fine coating. I mean, I hate to say this, but if it looks dusty, you're doing it right. It's just not a display painting technique unless you do a lot of glazing over it. If you glaze over the top, you can eliminate the dustiness and keep the blends. But that's why I don't like dry brushing in general. Is it'll look dusty and it'll show the particles. But that's why dry brushing was one of the last techniques I learned, is because And even the guy I knew who was really amazing with dry brushing, he still would have dusty, like, he'd still have a dusty effect. He would just wash or glaze over the top of it to smooth it out. But I mean, dry brushing is never a necessary technique. It is a fast technique, so like if you are painting board game minis and you do want that fastness, then there are examples, but remember those are photographs. Photographs aren't going to show you the bad stuff. Like whenever I look at a model online, I always kind of apply the Facebook rule. Everybody is only showing you their best face. They're not showing you the flaws. They're taking a picture that's most advantageous. And in some cases, the camera will smooth out layers or make things look better. So if you've got somebody like showing pictures online of a dry brush model, but they're not getting really close, then kind of assume there are some artifacts there that just aren't showing up on camera. Or they did glazing and or washes to smooth everything out. Right, Valendar, that's exactly it. And I mean, that's why historical people use it to do like mud and dirt effects on armor. Is because the dusty effect works so well, right? Yeah, I don't even use it for that. I just do side brushing. Agent Marvel. You only use makeup brushes. But you're still going to get texture, guys. Like dry brushing leaves a texture. It absolutely does. That's why I just stipple. Honestly, if I want little texture, I'd rather stipple and make it more precise. That's just me though, because I like precision. All right, let's see here. What do we got? I'm going to bring up some highlights here. Dry brushing worked on the mushroom queen that we did, the fungus queen. I did that on the back of her cap, right? But it worked because I was glazing colors over the top of it, and the colors hid the texture that the dry brushing gave me. So if you're using something like contrast paint, like dry brushing and then putting down like a layer of contrast or thinned contrast, again, that just goes back, of course, to just glazing or washing, then maybe it'll work for you. But yeah, I mean, it has texture. Even the makeup brushes give you a finer texture because it's a soft brush. Very soft. Fine hairs. Friends don't let friends paint drunk, remember. Unless you're painting plaid. All right, stipple, stipple, stipple. But yeah, so you're not doing it wrong if you're seeing a chalky texture or a rough texture or a dusty texture when you're dry brushing. You're not doing it wrong. You're actually doing it right. You think that, but then it goes south pretty fast, Crows. All right. I want to put deep shadows in behind some of this, so I'm going to grab my rich indigo and block in some darker indigo back here. Oh yeah, if you are, okay, so just like with layering, you can minimize the texture of your dry brushing if you utilize a lot of different layers of colors that are very close together. And it's exactly the same thing with layering, where you can use thicker paint. If you are keeping your layer colors closer together, you can use thicker paint with layering and get decent results. It's the same thing with dry brushing. If you are using it was actually, there was a single drunken speed painting in the past, and it actually went very bad. It went very bad. There were very bad results. It was therefore forbidden to ever happen again. That's why I say you think it's fun, but it's really not fun. We're not in college anymore, kids. Well, some of us are, but I don't know. Drunk stopped being fun for me a long time ago, which is just as well since I can't drink anymore. All right, so let's get this higher highlight on here. Little stipples, tiny little stipples. Got a little bit too much difference here, so I'm going to stipple in my base a little bit. I'm going to do almost a little wet blend. You can wet blend stipples if you didn't know. Pretty much first. Yeah, my guts won't let me drink anymore. And it's kind of nice because, honestly, I get a lot more things done that I care about now. Doing little tiny stipples, just bringing up all the little areas. And you can be a little haphazard because it's foam on water, so that you're trying to kind of mimic, so it's all good. There we go. Nope, I'm not there yet. Probably bronze. Fisher, I'm just kind of like going along in my happy little way. kind of thinking about what I want to do. It makes sense to make it bronze, though, to put verdigris on it. Or copper. Copper or bronze. I intend to put some kind of coppery or coral colors on him, so the question is, do I do the metals that way and go neutrals with everything else? Just kind of letting it play. The way that my brain works, my brain likes to just kind of think about options for a while. Likes to kind of toss things around in my head and I'm definitely like a thinker person where I just enjoy thinking about the project. And thinking about the project helps me to come to a conclusion. And that's just the way my brain works. I've learned to work with it over the years. Actually, 2 weeks from now, Chris, since I will be not on tomorrow or Friday, I will be not on Monday and Tuesday because of all of the visiting relatives and obligations. So I will not be back on until next Wednesday, when I shall return. Now I'm going to take some pure white and I'm going to hit all these bubbles. Yeah, today's my Friday. I have to think about it that way. I have to get my PDF done for my Patreon. Oh, and for those of you not on the Patreon, I actually made I blocked out a little diorama base for our necromancer. I did dig out one of my dark sword skeletal kitties and make a little mini diorama base, and that's actually the $2 video I put up yesterday. So we will show that base. Next time we're working on necromancer. No, Crows, the place we're having the wedding does not allow dogs. Plus, Pupper would just eat the flowers. Pupper has learned to sleep through, like when David and I go into the hobby room at night and we're sitting and hobbying and we're playing computer games together and stuff like that. Pupper has learned that this is a good time to sleep. Unfortunately, this means Pupper wakes up and then Pupper is like, oh, I'm really revved up again and now you need to tire me out again before I go to bed. I don't know what it is. Kind of braided and weird. Pendrake. I was just going to paint it neutral. I'm not worried about, it looks like braids twisted together. I have Kiki pictures, though, I can share. One second. I have Kiki pictures. I have a cute face picture from yesterday. She was playing with her flirt pole, and she had the lure in her mouth. There's our Keekster. No Luca today. Okay, well that's good to know. So there's the Keekster. She really loves playing with her lure. There's the whole Keekster. Let's see. There's a really cute one I got the other day of her and David. Hold on. Actually, this is a cute one too. She loves the lure. She loves it. Oh, she's a devil. Hold on. Let me find the cute one of her and David. Oh, wait. There's another cute one. Before I get the cute one, I will get the cute one of her and David. Let's see. Where is it? There we go. There's Daddy and Kiki. He's very cute. Oh yeah, both ears came up a while ago, Bruce, and they are firmly up. So it's very cute. And then, where's the other cute? There's another cute around here somewhere. There's the cute. She's a good girl. Mostly. Kind of. Sort of. Some of the time. There we go. There's your Kiki. I hadn't showed Kiki photos in a while, so I decided I would, I got very silly pictures of her chasing the lure, too. There's the silly Kiki. Chasing the lure. With her tongue out and her legs going. It's ridiculous. Yeah, she can pay attention very well for like 2 to 3 seconds, and then it's done. I need to throw some more water into my stuff. More water into paint. Just going through and adding a brush full of water to all of my colors just to keep them okay for these last 20 minutes or so. She's getting there. I mean, she's going to hit teething soon, so I'm interested to see how that affects her bitiness. All right, let's get our white dots put in the rest of these little bubbles. Might want a little bit more white. We have a lot of stuff on this guy's belt. But yes, the problem with the Kiki now is that she's like, Mama's playing Overwatch. I'm going to sleep for an hour, and then I'm going to be like all wound up in crazy dog when she wants to put me to bed. So that was part of why I was up so late last night finishing my book. It's because I had to actually retire out the Kiki before I put her in her bedtime crate, so that she would actually sleep. And it's going to be very interesting to see with people coming over. Pretty much have to warn them about her bitiness. Yes, you are late, Fabled Beast. Late, late, late. And remember, I'm not on tomorrow, I'm not on Friday, and I'm not on Monday or Tuesday. And I'm not on my personal stream on Saturday. I will be too busy baking cookies and making deviled eggs. Because, you know, if it's my wedding, I get to have deviled eggs, right? And also I get to have cookies. Hey, Francis. Wow. Long time no see. 32 months. Thanks so much for the resub. How you been? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Wendy. Yeah, the puppy, much as I try to get her on a schedule, the puppy resists. There's just enough disruption on our schedules that it feels really hard to get her on a set schedule for naps. Plus, like I said, when we aren't directly paying attention to her, which, you know, we're not. We were just hanging out. I give her things to chew on in the evening to wind down, but she'll just like conk out. Mostly because I feel like she's not sleeping as much as she should during the day. And so instead, she's just revving herself up. I'm not, Francis. I'm excited for it to be over. But yes, thank you for the congrats. Thank you for the congrats. At the moment, I'm just trying not to stress about it. Yeah, right. Right. We can't even get ourselves on a set schedule. I depend pretty hard on my routine to get things done. It really disrupts my focus if I'm always interrupting my routine. So, but the puppy is a born routine disruptor. Just like any little. There we go. Hey, our foamies are looking pretty good. And our back foamies look good. Just a little bit more. I think I need to do some more up here. Thanks, Dogfather. Yeah, when it gets dark out is when Kiki doesn't get her fishing pole anymore. But it's actually good, like, for her, the fishing pole actually revs her up. So she gets the fishing pole during the day, but at night, she gets bully stick and pig ear and stuff like that. And she just gets stuff to chew on in her playpen in the hobby room. Because chewing is more of a calm activity. So it gets her more in a bedtime frame of mind. Her energy levels will spike given half the chance, so. That's a bummer, Francis. Some people can do that and be okay on it, but I always feel just tired if I don't have my routine. Kind of expecting to crash a little since I got to bed so late last night. Alright, got some little specklies in there. And I want to get a little bit more in here. Some people can do that, Crows. I'm one of those sort of sad people who needs 8 hours. Like 7.5 minimum. You people who can power through on less sleep just like amaze me, because my brain is amazing on 8 hours of sleep a night, but it's definitely not amazing on anything less. Yeah, Quindy, for sure. Yeah, I used to work third shift, and I was probably going on 6 hours of sleep a day during that time. But then when I stopped working third shift, like, all my friends were like, oh my God, we're so glad you stopped working third shift. And I was like, rrr. And they're like, you were so grouchy and you were so snippy and you were just, like, they all noticed that my personality changed on less sleep, and I didn't because I was too close to it to notice. I make myself go to bed early normally, Fabled Beast. I'm pretty good at that. because I really love how I feel when I get adequate sleep. Like, I have tons of energy. I can do so much. I can accomplish so much when I have enough sleep. And I love that feeling. And so that's a big, that makes me prioritize it in my life. And then, you know, you read the sleep studies about how terrible it is for you to not get adequate sleep. And then you're just scared. All right, so a little bit more sparkly white on those parts. A little bit more sparkly white out here. That's looking pretty good. All right, we'll go a little bit longer. I just have a little bit of touch-ups to do, and so yeah, I need to decide if I want to do like a copper for the area up here, and this and other metal, or if I want to do more of a bronzy color. And I mean, copper is kind of dicey. It's very orange, it's very warm, and it might distract from Fishy Dude. So bronze might be a better call because it's more muted. Yeah, little kids. Well, I have a little puppy, so yeah, same kind of thing. I haven't been getting as much good sleep as I got before the Kiki came along. It's kind of bothering me having just the teal on the hands here, guys, so I'm actually going to highlight some of this. I'm going to mix my Surf Aqua with a bit of my creamy ivory to make almost a greenish pale tone, like that. And I'm going to use that to highlight. But yeah, I definitely needed more sleep last night, that's for sure. And I'm definitely going to be hitting a nap today. The problem is if the thing is if it's a complement, and it is a complementary color kind of to what we're doing, Crows, it would be great contrast, but if it pulls your attention away from the model, then that's not good. So there's like a big difference between like going for a complement, like because it'll make everything look better, or make all the colors come together more. And you choose a complement, and suddenly the fact that this is complementary makes the copper look really orange, and then you're looking at that and not at the important thing. So you want to kind of assess that, because when you're working with a model with really cool colors, remember that warm colors draw the eye. And so then you're fighting to keep attention on the cool colored part of the model. And it might not work out like that, but it's something I think about and say, okay, this is going to be a problem potentially if I go this way. So like, contrast itself is great, but remember that contrast is a double-edged sword. And the warmer, lighter part is always going to draw the eye more than the cooler part. Now the fish belly and the face being light might help to keep us in line. Oh, there's 2 rings over here, and I've got to line them. Yeah, Crows, I still don't know, though. I think copper might be too overwhelming. Like, I thought about it in my head, and I kind of like envisioned it on the piece, and I felt like it was just not a good choice. I feel like it's too vibrant. Gotta get these rings here. And tarnished copper is just brown. I know. You can think about it. Right now I'm not, like, just feels like it's too intense for this model. Oh no, NMM on this one, Fabled Beast. Because there's too many small intricate areas. So there's this little intricate stuff here, the border. There's the intricacy of the spearhead. There's the intricacy of this. Anything with small details, I always go NMM on because it's really hard to make that kind of stuff look good and crisp with metallics. So yeah, we're doing metal on Mouseling. The model line, the Mouseling model I'm painting, we're doing that because everything on the Mouseling, for the most part, is simple. So the sword is pretty simple, the hilt is pretty simple, this little thing is simple. He's got little feet, but they're pretty clunkily sculpted, so it's big blocky shapes. So metallics can work well on that, even with the smallness of the model. And I believe I'm going to do metallics on the Jinn as well. Again, because it's big areas. I feel like metallics work far better on larger models and larger areas, but anything that is too much little intricate design tends not to look as good in metallics, in my opinion. Purely my opinion. All right, yes, fishy fingers. That's right. Fish fingers, not fish sticks. Fish fingers. It's just that because when you have intricate little bits, you really want to be able to highlight them, like pinpoint highlight them, Fabled Beast. Like you need to bring in a lot of contrast, yeah, to make these stand out. And when you have metallics, you do not have control over that. You are at the mercy of the light source. So, thus, in order to make things show up and to be able to control the highlights and where they fall, NMM. I don't think all green. I think I want to do a lot of green, but not all green, Bruce. I was thinking about a coral vest, Melandar. But then we went and did coral on the genie, so I'm not sure I want to do that. I also felt like it might be, again, it's like when you're doing a cool colored model, be careful where you put your warm and how intense the coral, how intense the warm colors are. It is going to impact the rest of the model. I tend to play pretty safe with my compositions as far as that goes. I'm always thinking about where's the viewer's eye going to go here? And what could go wrong with a given color. And because of that, I very rarely get into color problems. Yeah, I don't know, Apomega. I kind of was thinking, I've been thinking about like a really dark purple. A really dark purple might be pretty. Or a blue-black leather. Been kind of thinking along those terms. kind of doing some quick shading and highlighting on these fingers here. But yeah, just kind of thinking about like what I could work that would, what I could do that would work. Whatever the vest is, I want these little cloth things down here to be the same color. So I need to think about composition there. All right. Okie dokie. And then a little bit of highlighting on the hand and we will call it for the day. It definitely is the sunshine that makes the puppy start to fuss, because notice, guys, that she is not fussing right now, even though we're almost a quarter hour past our normal time, and it's still cloudy outside. So it's definitely the sunshine popping out that makes her start fussing, which is funny, because it's always hazy here in the morning this time of year. Alrighty, let's back up and see fishy. 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 I didn't get to all the crest stuff on this side. I actually should do those real quick. Very fishy. So yeah, we didn't get the spines here, so I'm going to do those real quick. But we've pretty much got his skin and everything set at this point. My dark paint, sadly, has been thinned way down, so I may need to actually just do it next time. Yeah, it's looking, the details are coming out pretty well right now. I still have more work to do, more highlighting to do on the little scales up here. I need to do the crest. That's pretty much all that's left on the skin, I think. It's just picking out these little pebbly scales and doing the other side of the crest. And then we can figure out what color I want to do on the vest. What might work well. Yep, we're going to wrap it. So I will be back next Wednesday, folks. Yawn. Stretch. Remember to stretch. Whew. Yep. Oh, the elemental Scions, Fable Beast? Yeah. Yep, have fun, everybody. Indeedy. And y'all just have a good weekend. Yeah, we'll be back. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a fun and free week. Indeedy do. Yep. Yeah, I'll be better after a nap. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Oh, that is a really weird bird. Sorry, distracted by a really weird bird. All right. Have a good one, and I will see you next week. Bye.